Now that we have finished solving the different types of one-step equations, I think it's a good idea that we review each of those types of equations at one time. So we'll start with number 1, which reads W over 5 equals negative 7, or we can also say W divided by 5 equals negative 7. So to solve this equation, we want to multiply both sides by 5. On the left side of the equation, we can see that we can reduce the 5's to 1. So we're left with 1W equal to, on the right side, we have negative 7 times 5, which equals negative 35. You can check your answer by substituting back into the original equation. So you have negative 35 divided by 5, and that equals negative 7, which gives us the same thing that we had on the right side of the equation. So we have a true statement. Our solution is correct. Number 2, we have an equation that reads negative 7 equals 5 plus W. So our variable's on the right, which is okay. And we want to solve for the variable by subtracting 5 on each side of the equation because 5 is being added to W. So we have minus 5 on each side of the equation. And so on the right side of the equation, 5 minus 5, that is 0. So the right side, we're left with just the 1W. On the left side, we have negative 7 minus 5. That's the same as saying negative 7 plus negative 5, and that gives us negative 12. Again, we can check our equation by substituting back in negative 12. So we would have 5 plus negative 12. That gives us negative 7, which is equal to the left side of the equation. We have a true statement. Third equation, negative 7 equals negative 5W. We know we have multiplication here to the variable. So to undo multiplication, we want to divide both sides by negative 5. On the right side of the equation, negative 5 divided by negative 5, that's 1. So we have 1W. On the left side of the equation, we have negative 7 divided by negative 5. I'm going to leave this as a fraction, but remember, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So we have positive 7/5. All right, let's check our work. So we'll substitute back in. We have negative 5 times 7/5. If we reduce this, the 5's reduce to 1. So we're left with negative 7, which equals the negative 7 on the left side of the equation. Our fourth equation here reads W minus 5 equals negative 7. So to solve for W, we want to add 5 to both sides. On the left side, minus 5 and plus 5 is 0. So we're left with W. We're left with 1W equal to, and then negative 7 plus 5 equals negative 2. Check your answer. So I'm going to substitute back in negative 2 for W. So we have negative 2 minus 5, which is the same as saying negative 2 plus negative 5, and that equals negative 7, which equals the right side of the equation, which was negative 7. And then our last example, which is really just another multiplication example, but we use a special trick for these whenever we're multiplying by a fraction. Instead of dividing by the fraction, we decide to multiply each side by the reciprocal. And so On the left side of the equation, I'm going to multiply by 2/7. And then on the right side of the equation, I'm also going to multiply by 2/7. All right, so now we have on the right side, the fractions are going to reduce to 1. So we have 1W. On the left side, let's reduce the 7 and -49. So they both have a factor of 7. So 7 divided by 7 is 1. 49 divided by 7 is 7. So I'm left with -7 actually. So I have 7 times -7 times 2, and that gives me -14. Okay, check your answer. So we started with -49 equal to 7/2 W. So I'm going to put in the -14, and I'm going to put that over 1. Okay, so evaluate that right side. I'm going to reduce the 2 and the -14. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So that gives me -7. 7 times -7 is -49. So we have a true statement. Hope that was helpful.